Hi friend, I'm so glad that you're joining me. This is week 3 of a 3-part Advent yoga video series. And today's 25-minute practice is just an embodiment of the idea of Emmanuel, God with us. We're not going to dig into any specific part of the Advent story, but we're just going to move and breathe and try and embody and understand better this idea of the profound miracle that is God with us in the form of Jesus. So let's jump right in and do some yoga. We're going to begin today's nice, slow, meditative practice lying on our backs. I find it feels better on my low back if I place the soles of my feet on the mat and let my knees just fall towards each other. That just helps open up my low back and really just surrender and release through my hips, low belly. Palms can be open towards the ceiling as shoulders open up. Feeling the back of your head connect with the mat. Feeling your shoulder blades make contact with the mat. Your hips heavy. Your feet planted. A physical reminder that you are here right now in this moment. And the supernatural miracle of it all is that so is God. Because of Jesus, we have the Holy Spirit. We get to enter into this divine dance, as Richard Rohr calls it, of the Trinity, this never-ending circle of love, of giving love and receiving love between the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. And we get to enter into that in this very moment, right here, lying on our yoga mats. We've been reading Tim Keller's book about Christmas. And the last quote I want to share from you is this. He says, "The biblical God, however, is infinite, holy, and our sin could not be shrugged off. It had to be dealt with." Right, guys? Our brokenness is never going to save us. And so we needed an intermediary. Tim Keller goes on, he says, he's also infinitely loving. God knows that we could never climb up to him, so he has to come down to us. God had to come himself and do what we couldn't do. Guys, no matter how much we convince ourselves that we can save ourselves, that we can make ourselves happy, that we can create peace and fulfillment and forgiveness in our lives, we can't save ourselves. Tim Keller says God doesn't send someone he doesn't send us a committee report or a preacher to tell you how to save yourself. He comes himself to fetch us. Jesus is God with flesh on. He's full human and full God here on earth. And I love that God sends him. He doesn't just send us a book to read, right? Like he gives us the Bible, but the Bible has its meaning because of Jesus. He comes himself to fetch us. Let's just meditate on the holiness and the beauty of that and the shocking, just radical act of love and of giving that is. And the invitation it is for us to be part of that beautiful dance of giving and receiving love. Take a moment to ask the Holy Spirit to speak to you for these next few minutes, to draw your heart closer to heavens, to show you maybe what blind spots you've been missing, or maybe to remind you of a deep truth that you need to be reminded of today. Something to bring more freedom, more peace in you so that you can share that freedom and peace with the world. Draw your knees into your chest. Take a deep breath in. And on your breath out, roll or press yourself up to a seated position. When you get there, roll your shoulders up to your ears and down your back. One more time. Good, and then reach your arms out to the side. Interlace your fingers in front of you. And as you exhale, press those fingers away from you. Round your upper spine. Tuck your chin into your chest. Good, inhale. Unwrap your hands. Place them on the mat behind you. Press them in as you open your shoulder blades up. Good, exhale. Fingers interlace. Press away from you, rounding. And then inhale, fingers find the mat. Open across your collarbone, grow nice and tall through your spine. One last time, seated cat pose, rounding through the upper back, puffing it up. Good, and then as you exhale, fingers find the mat. Sorry, as you inhale, fingers find the mat. Heart reaches forward. Good, and then place your hands on the mat a few inches in front of you. Really spread those fingers wide. Uncross your legs and slowly make your way back into downward facing dog. Really gentle here. On a scale of like 1 to 10, this is maybe like an effort 3, down dog. So just gently bend one knee and then the other. But see if you can find some more space in your back by pressing those hands into the mat and reaching those hips away from your hands. Good, and then really slowly walk your feet up to the top of your mat, finding a forward fold. Grab onto opposite elbows here and sway from side to side. And then place your hands on your shin, and with your breath in, reach your heart forward, lifting halfway up. Exhale, fold back down. Let's do this again. Inhale, finding length. Draw the top of your head forward another inch. Exhale, release and fold. One more time. Inhale, lift halfway up, finding new length in your spine. Exhale and fold. Root down through those feet, and with a big inhale, stand all the way up, arms overhead. Once again, interlace your fingers here and press your palms towards the ceiling. Straighten through those elbows as you draw your shoulder blades away from your ears. Good. Find your breath in this big, expansive front body opener. And then see if you can begin to rise up onto your tiptoes nice and slow. Keep pressing those hands towards the ceiling. Good. Lower your heels down to the mat and reach over to the right side. Pressing especially through that left foot to find new space in your left side body. Drawing those shoulder blades together, maybe sending your gaze under that left armpit. Good. Return to center. Release your hands. Draw them back behind you and place them on your low back, fingertips facing the mat. On your inhale, reach your heart forward, and then on your exhale, draw those shoulder blades together and just bend back a few centimeters here. Good. Exhale brings you back to center. And once again, interlace those fingers over your head. Press your palms towards the ceiling. Let your shoulders fall away. And then roll up onto your tiptoes. Grow nice and tall. Good. And then lower those heels to the mat. And bend over towards the left side now. Using your breath to help make space. Good. Come back to center. Release your hands. Once again, place them on your low back. Press that sacrum down as you open your heart up towards the ceiling. Thighs spiral together. Good. Come back to center and dive down towards your toes for a forward fold. Grab opposite elbows here, swaying from side to side, shaking your head out, maybe fluttering your lips, whatever is helpful for releasing tension in your face and your upper back here. Good. Place your hands on the mat now and step your feet back to plank pose. We're going to roll over onto our right hand onto the right side for side plank. Feel free to lower that right knee down to the mat for extra support if you need it, and reach that left arm up to the ceiling. Bringing those bottom ribs up to reach your top ribs, right? Lifting through the belly. Good. Return to center, and let's just take this over to the left side. Good. Rolling over onto the left hand on the outside edge of that bottom foot. Right arm is going to reach up towards the ceiling. Hips lift up towards the ceiling. That bottom knee can find the mat for support. Good, one more breath. And then on your exhale, find plank again and lower onto your knees and sit your hips back for child's pose. Taking 2 or 3 very deep breaths here. See if you can feel your whole back body fill with air, and then see if you can feel yourself sinking deeper into your mat with your exhale. Using your breath and your body to remind you, I am here right now. The presence of God is here right now. We don't need to be somewhere else in our heads. We can be right here. Right here is safe. Right here is hopeful. Right here is forgiveness and restoration and freedom and grace. Begin to spread your fingers wide, pressing into your hands, beginning to engage your arms and press back up for downward facing dog. Maybe taking the engagement level here now to a 6. So legs start to fire up just a bit. Inner thighs are going to spiral together and press back. Good. Heels are going to reach for the mat. And then reach your right leg long behind you. Bend your knee here, open your hip, stacking right hip on top of left hip. But both hands keep pressing into the mat here. So this is a twist that's happening in your mid to low back. Not quite your shoulders. Good. Return back to center and place that right foot down in between your hands, stepping it through. With a big breath in here, root down through your feet, rise up for high lunge. So the heel of your back foot is lifted. You're on the ball of that back foot. Front knee is bent, but not too far over that front ankle. Take an inhale here, and then on your exhale, plant that back foot, open up for warrior 2 now. So that front heel is going to intersect with the inner arch of that back foot. And that back leg is nice and active, straight and strong. Arms reaching from side to side. Good, and then flip that front palm, scoop it up and back, reversing your warrior. Good, and then exhale, coming back to warrior 2. On your inhale, straighten that front knee, point your toes over towards the long edge of the left side of your mat, arms overhead, and then exhale, take warrior 2 to the back of your mat. So those left toes are now going to point straight, and that right foot is parallel to the front edge of the mat, bending into that right knee. Sorry, bending into that left knee. Good, flip that left palm, reach it up and back, reversing your warrior. Good, and then returning back for warrior 2. Big breath in, both toes now are going to point to the long edge of your mat, and then take warrior 2 back to the front of your mat, bending into that right knee now. Good, and then place both hands on the mat. Step your right foot back to meet your left, taking plank. I'm going to skip chaturanga and up dog here. We're going to go straight to down dog, but if you want to add those in, you're more than welcome to. From down dog, take some deep breaths here once again, pedaling your heels, cycling your breath through, and then reach your left leg out behind you. Bend your knee, open your hip. Good, and then return it to center and place it down in between your hands at the top of your mat. Take a moment here to find your balance. And then rooting down through those feet, rise up to stand in your high lunge. Back heel lifted. Strong through the front bent knee. Good, and then place that back heel down, open up for warrior 2 on the left side. Flip your front palm, reach it up and back, reverse. And then return to warrior 2. On your breath in, stretch your arms overhead, straighten both legs, and point your toes now towards the right side of your mat. And then take warrior 2 to the back edge of your mat, bending into your right knee now, strong through that back left foot. Flip your front palm, reverse your warrior here, and return to warrior 2. On your breath in, arms reach overhead, toes point towards the long edge of your mat, and then on your exhale, they find warrior 2 again on the left side. One breath here. And then exhale, hands find the mat, step back for plank, roll back to downward facing dog. Lower onto your knees, sit your hips back to your heels for child's pose. I'm going to read to you for this last part of our practice here some verses from Isaiah chapter 9. Just a select handful of verses from verses 2 through 7. And this is Isaiah prophesying about the coming of Jesus, about what he would be, what he would bring, what it would mean. He says, the people who walk in darkness will see a great light. For those who live in a land of deep darkness, a light will shine. Just take a moment and connect with that imagery in your heart, in your office, in your family, in your hopes, in your dreams, in your hurts, in your longings. Those who live in a land of deep darkness, a light will shine. Begin to press back to downward facing dog. And then walk your feet up to the top of your mat, finding a forward fold. Root down, rise up to stand. Hands find your heart. We're going to make our way to dancer pose. So begin to press the weight into your left foot and reach your right foot behind you, reaching back with your right hand, grabbing onto the inside edge of that right foot. And taking a moment here just to draw that foot towards your hip as you hug your knees together, enjoying this quad stretch. You can stay here if you like. And just breathe into this stretch, drawing those knees together, maybe even drawing it back a little bit to feel a stretch in your hip flexor. If you'd like to take it a bit farther to dancer pose, begin to really press that foot into your hand and lift that back knee up as you reach your heart forward. Good, so that back knee is going to reach up and back, lifting your back hand with it. Good, and your heart is going to reach forward. Breathing here. And then slowly return back to center. And let's lower that right foot down to the mat, but step it back a few feet, coming into pyramid pose. So both toes are going to point towards the front edge of your mat, but they're going to be about, 8 to 12 inches apart, maybe even a little bit wider if that feels better on your hips. Both hip points pointing forward, a nice wide stance here. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Take a big breath in, draw your knuckles down to the mat. And then as you exhale, reach your heart forward long and strong through your spine. And then on your next exhale, fully release, folding over that front left leg. Those knuckles are going to come up and over. Surrendering, folding, receiving. Draw that left hip back in space, reach that right hip forward, press down through those feet. One more breath in, and then root down through those feet, rise back up to standing, release the grasp on your hands, step your right foot forward to the front of your mat. Inhale, sweep your arms up overhead, and exhale, fold forward here. Giving your knees a little shake, releasing the tension in your low back. Let's stand back up, rise back up, arms overhead, and then bring those hands to your heart. And now let's take dancer on the left side, reaching that left foot up and back, and the left hand grabbing onto the inner arch of it. Taking a second here to draw your thighs together, to draw that left hip point forward. And breathe into the stretch here. Staying here if this is where you need to stay today. Or begin to press that foot into your hand, reaching that left knee up, drawing that left foot higher with that back arm as you reach your heart forward and up. Beautiful. Return back to center. Release that foot down to the mat and step it back a few feet. Once again for pyramid pose. I like to think of my feet being on like railroad tracks here. So they're both pointing the same way, but they're just a few inches, maybe a foot or two apart from each other. This time, bring your hands behind you, maybe for reverse prayer if you have the opening in your shoulders. That's where your palms come to touch. For me, I like to just give myself a fist bump from behind, so knuckles are touching. But draw those elbows out to the side. That's going to help open up across your shoulders. Really root down through your feet here. Take a breath in and grow nice and tall. And then on your exhale, fold forward. Reach that heart forward like we do when we're in forward fold and we lift halfway up. Same thing going on in our upper body here. Keep drawing those elbows back. Keep reaching those hips back and your heart forward. Good, and then you can release whatever hand situation you have going on. Bring those fingertips to the mat and fold forward over that front right leg. Using your breath to draw your heart a bit closer to your thighs and keeping just a soft micro bend in your knees. Verse 4 in Isaiah chapter 9 says, "For you, Jesus, will break the yoke of their slavery and lift the heavy burden from their shoulders. You will break the oppressor's rod, just as you did when you destroyed the army of Midian." What a beautiful promise. He will break the yoke of our slavery and lift the heavy burden from our shoulders. Slowly begin to rise back up. Inhale, step that back foot forward and sweep your arms up overhead. Exhale, fold back forward. Hands find the mat. Step your feet back and come onto hands and knees here. Swing your feet out to the side, coming down to sit. That left hand is going to find your right knee. Right fingertips are going to come behind you. On your inhale, root down through those sit bones. Grow nice and tall. And then on your exhale, twist open towards the right side. Closing your eyes and feeling your breath help deepen the twist. On your next exhale, untwist. And take your right hand to your left knee and gently twist open towards the left side. Good. Untwist and return to center. To end our meditation today, we're going to take child's pose. Just this humble offering. So come onto your shins, open your knees nice and wide. There's a few options here for child's pose. You can stretch your arms out in front of you like we normally do. Or with your knees open like this, I find it really comforting sometimes to slide my arms underneath my upper body and roll over onto either the right or left cheek on my face. Just curl up into like this little ball almost. It can feel very healing and comforting. Or you can bring your knees a bit closer together and bring your arms down along beside you, just outside your body here, letting your shoulders roll forward. Once again, coming onto either your right or left cheek. Explore maybe these different variations. Find one that feels holy to you. And close your eyes and just breathe in this space. Isaiah chapter 9, verses 6 and 7 say this: "For a child is born to us, a son is given to us. The government will rest on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. His government and its peace will never end. He will rule with fairness and justice from the throne of his ancestor David for all eternity. The passionate commitment of the Lord of heaven's armies will make this happen." I invite you to choose one of these names of Jesus that Isaiah gives and just meditate on it for the next couple of minutes, turning it over in your heart, asking God to show up in this way in your life. Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Maybe on your inhale as you take the first part of the name, and on your exhale as you say the second part. Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Stay here in this intimate moment for as long as your heart desires. Happy Advent, Merry Christmas, and I hope to see you back here on your mat soon.